welcome to this review of my ISOG single key micropad. This was a donation from James from Alchemist Keyboards. Thanks again, mate. So last time we had a detachable numpad, and now we have a single key micropad. Don't worry though, we're not going to get even smaller than this. Taking the term keyboard to its literal singular meaning, this is basically an endorsed crossing between Black Simon's ISO with the styling of AKB's own OGR keyboard, hence the name is0GR, with O being a 0. The idea behind this, and thanks for the comments in the unboxing video for enlightening me on this specific topic, is that people who bought GMK keycap sets tended to use them as ANSI, leaving loads of unused ISO enter keys that come with those sets. So this is basically a way to put those enters to use. This is useful context for me as it turns out, I don't have that many spare ISO enter keys. I used it with this one. I think it's an MT3 keycap, but I got an MK UK Green Owl one at the recent ISOG meetup, so I'll probably switch it over to that one after this video, even if those colors match even more terribly. Speaking of the color, this is the lilac version, one of 6 color schemes you can get for it, and it was the only one he still had in stock. So rather than wait for the next round, I figured, fuck it, I'll just do this one instead. There is a new round coming soon with completely different colors. The current round is now fully out of stock, so keep an eye on the link in the description if you want to pick one up. So the backstory behind this is that I ran into James at an earlier meetup, and of course I was immediately interested in this. Now, he called it the worst keyboard in the world, and I was going, what the fuck are you on about? This is clearly the best keyboard in the world. I want one, or 2. But he mentioned that the more he shits on it, the more people seem to want it, so I guess that makes sense. Now, I mean, if you look at this objectively, yeah, this is probably the worst keyboard in the world, but also, it's objectively the best keyboard in the world, right? I mean, look at it, it's amazing. Who wouldn't want something like this? To make it even worse, it's quite expensive. MSRP for the next round is estimated at $90, so a whole board made out of these would be around 10 grand. And it doesn't even come with a switch, stabilizer, or a keycap. Now, the latter part makes more sense when you consider the context I mentioned earlier, but still, there isn't even an option to get one if you need it. It's also not hot swappable, so you'll have to solder in the switch yourself. Now, soldering in one switch is really no work at all, especially if, like me, you've soldered and desoldered literally thousands of switches, but it still would have been a nice quality of life addition, especially for people who don't know how to solder or don't own a soldering iron. It is possible the next round will have hot swap sockets though, he's still finalizing the new design. You do get a nice carry case for it, and it's fitted and finished extremely nicely. It's made entirely out of machined 6063 aluminium, and it feels and looks like a really high quality item. These pieces in here, for example, fit absolutely seamlessly. Look at that. I guess that's where the money is going. Seriously though, it's really cool. I think there are also 3D printed versions of this idea, but this is definitely a big step up from that in terms of production value. It's programmable with QMK, VIA and VIAL, so you can also use it as a macropad, though good luck finding an ISO enter key that says on it what macro you want to program into it. Still, it's really nice that you get the option to do this, of course. Naturally, by default, it outputs a return scan code. Honestly, I really like this project. It's just a good bit of old-fashioned fun, and that it's useful as well is only a bonus. I think it's great, maybe not very cheap, but like I said, it's well made for a not very serious project. Let's call it the best way to do something silly. I mean, it is difficult to escape the conclusion that this costs as much as these 2 numpad calculators combined, but, yeah. And yeah. And yeah. James put some kind of linear switch in this one, purely because it was lilac colored, I suspect, but naturally you need something in it that's hyper tactile and hyper loud. So personally I'd recommend a ZealPC Clickie in there, which is what I outfitted this one with. By default it doesn't come with a switch, it was just left in his package as it was a demo model. Anyway, naturally you can't really do a typing test with this, so I'll just do a quick sound test after this. In any event, that's it for this review. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.